What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 185, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode is going to be my Week 16 Fantasy Football Playoff Semifinal Running Back Top 36 rankings. So in this video, there's a couple injuries we need to look at. I'm going to break down the defense statistics on the season. I'm also going to break down the defense statistics in the past 4 weeks. Shout out to my guy, Big Draft Energy there on that one. So you should just give the season stats. Now I like looking at how it's going recently with injuries and stuff that carries over instead of just the season. So you will get double the information. Before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that thumbs up, hit that subscription button. Helps me out a ton. You guys have been absolutely amazing this year. Again, turn that bell on as well. I'll be live Thursday and Friday, and then I head out of town all weekend. So if you guys cannot make any of the live streams this week, you can always drop any comment you want down below. One of my goals all year long is to answer every single one of them. And let's dive into these running back rankings to help us get to the fantasy football finals here. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my running back week 16 board here. You're going to see baller tier at the top, must start running backs tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. We're going to crank through the top 36, but there's a lot to talk about here because of injuries, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. So at the bottom, you'll see the running backs that have been out: CMC, Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, season over, absolutely brutal. Nick Chubb hurt as well, and Sincere McCormick is out. And I'm not even going to rank Alexander Madison or Amir Abdullah, who had a great pass catching game last week, in the top 36. I do not know how it's going to play out for the Raiders running back situation with them tanking for the first pick, but I do like their matchup a ton, so I want to throw that out. And I do like Alexander Madison as a sleeper flex play this week. Now, Alvin Kamara, Monday Night Football. This is going to be one of the most brutal decisions in fantasy football right here, because it says day to day, you could pick up Kendre Miller. Obviously, you should have off the waiver if you owned him. And I'll talk about my rankings of these players like at the end, and I'll break down where I would put them and stuff. So Kenneth Walker, also, we don't know if he's going to play, and Zach Charbonnet coming off his ugly touchdown saving game last week. I'll break down all those scenarios at the end of the video. I'm not going to rank them in the top 36 yet because I don't know if they're going to be out there. So I'll break down how I would do it at the end here. Now, sorry, my throat is just charred. So starting off with the baller tier here, running back 1 overall last week was James Conner. I am going to stick with running back 1 overall this week is going to be James Conner again. The matchup is beautiful. You get the Carolina Panthers. You also have D Mercado and Trey Benson going to be banged up out of this game. So there will be no rotational pieces here, maybe DJ Dallas, but the Cardinals are fighting for that playoff spot. They're going to give James Conner an 80-90% workload here. He is going to absolutely destroy the Carolina Panthers, who rank on the season 32nd versus the running back, dead last, giving up 28.4 points, 32nd on the season, 31st in the red zone at 9.1, and 32nd in yards allowed with 141.5, which is absolutely bonkers. And guess what? They rank 32nd in touchdowns allowed too. So the matchup is just absolutely beautiful here. But when you look at the last 4 weeks, Carolina has gotten a little better. I still don't scare away from it at all. They've gone down to 23.6. That doesn't bother me at all. I know Rico Dowdle didn't find the end zone, but Rico Dowdle popped 150 on him. So nothing to worry about there. James Conner is going to be my absolute running back 1 this week. Running back 2 is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. And the time that we've all been waiting for, and I hate to say it because of injury, is I've just been waiting to see this guy be the number 1 guy. He will break fantasy football. He gets the matchup this week versus the Chicago Bears. So when you're looking at the Lions versus the Bears, obviously you probably see maybe a little Craig Reynolds, maybe some Siaki or Vion Siaki, whatever his name is, sprinkled in, because Dan Campbell always likes to use those 1-2 kind of punch running backs. But the Chicago Bears versus the run lately, guys, have just been getting gashed. They rank 28th, giving up 24.7, 14th in the red zone at 115.6 yards, which is bottom 10 in the NFL in yards allowed, and tied with the Carolina Panthers at 1.1 rushing touchdowns for dead last. So you have to love this matchup a ton. But then when you go look at the last 4 weeks, so on the season, it's 24.7, right? But they've been getting gashed so bad lately that they are giving up 28.4, which is 4th worst. So a 4 higher point average. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to absolutely smash. You're obviously starting this guy every single week. Running back number 3 on the week for me is going to be Josh Jacobs, and the matchup doesn't get any better than this, guys. you're going to have the New Orleans Saints, probably with Spencer Rattler at quarterback on Monday Night Football, going up against the Packers in what looks like a rain game, which will be more touches for Josh Jacobs in this game. Now, do you know how many 20-point games Josh Jacobs has had in his last 9 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 7 out of the past 8. He's had 20-point games, averaging over 20 touches per game. The New Orleans Saints versus the run in the last 4 weeks, they've been averaging 18.63. But on the season, they give up 23.9. So they have gotten better recently, but I think the matchup, it's not going to matter anymore because they've kind of fire-selled it away. It's kind of over. They rank 20th in the red zone, 104.9 yards, which is bottom 10 as well, and 1 touchdown, which is tied for second last game. Book Josh Jacobs for a touchdown in this game. Easy scoring game for him here. Running back number 4, Bijan Robinson. And I had Derrick Henry running back 1 last week because of this right here, and nothing happened. It was very strange against the New York Giants. So the New York Giants currently right now on the season versus the running back, they rank 29th, giving up 25.1, 21st in the red zone, 114.5 yards, which is bottom 5, and 70% chance of a touchdown. But then when you look at the recent last 4 weeks, and this is with Derrick Henry, who just dropped a dud, they're giving up 30.58 points to the running back. They've given up 5 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what happened last week with Derrick Henry in the Ravens game. I know Lamar threw 5 touchdowns. It was an aberration game. Henry should have absolutely smashed. Bijan is going to absolutely smash. And with Michael Penix now inserted, it's going to look really different for the defenses to stack the boxes against him. Running back 5. Man, Saquon Barkley cost a lot of people playoffs last week, man. Got hurt in the first quarter, on the first drive, whatever, came back in the second half, popped his shoulder. Still saw 19 touches, which is amazing. But you're getting the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, and it's just going to be one of those ugly grind games. The Steelers are top 10 versus the run, allowing 20.6. They're 15th in the red zone. Only 79.3 yards they allow and a 60% chance of a touchdown. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, defies all the odds. But this is just one of the worst matchups you could get for him. And when you're looking at the Steelers in the last 4 weeks, they're doing even better. They're only giving up 19.23. So the run defense has gotten better than it has been on the total season. Still, I'm going to keep Saquon in my baller tier. He's still my favorite running back. Still an absolute beast on the field. Just got to hope he doesn't get banged up in this game. Running back number 6, I just talked about him, Derrick Henry. And we're going to stick with that theme here. I mean, I do not know what happened with the freaking Giants last week. He should have crushed for 20 points. Everything statistically, everything research was there. It did not happen. I'm still going to keep him up here again. I mean, you're going to get the Steelers this week. Sorry. I went Saquon Barkley versus Steelers. Absolutely wrong there. My bad, guys. It's early in the morning. Just got back from the gym, trying to get it going here. They're going to get the Commanders. Let me rewind here. Saquon Barkley gets the Commanders. They rank 12th, giving up 21.2. Their run defense has gotten way better since the beginning of the season. 8th in the red zone, 110.4 yards and an 80% chance of a touchdown for Saquon. So backing it up to Saquon there. And the Commanders in the past 4 weeks are ranking second best, allowing 14.7. So divisional matchup, you're still starting Saquon. Now use those Steelers stats for Derrick Henry. Now we'll move on to the next tier. I'm sorry, guys. I messed that up. Number 7, Devon Achane did not have his big game last week that everyone wanted, that I wanted. If you guys have been subscribed to my channel, Devon Achane is my guy. I was super high on him last year coming out. He was my must-draft late-round running back, and I'm going to stick with that until his career is over. At this point, I'm such an Achane fan. You're going to get the San Francisco 49ers, who have been beat up. So when you look at these numbers, right, the 49ers ranked 21st versus the run, giving up 23.4. But they do have a lot more healthy pieces back now. So you can temper these numbers a little bit. 28th in the red zone, 92.9 passing yards, and a chance for 1 touchdown a game, which is also tied for last. So Achane has a very good chance of finding the end zone, but he does most of his work through the air. That Miami offensive line has been beat up. Their season is still not over. They are still fighting, to get into the playoffs. It's not completely eliminated, so there's still a chance there. But in the past 4 weeks, the Niners have given up the 8th most rushing yards or points to the running back at 25.08. So it's been, you see the healthiness kicking in, but it's been really bad with the injuries. So I still love HN this week. Running back number 8, Kyren Williams, the only running back that mattered in LA all year long. I could not believe I was getting all that Blake Corum nonsense when the season started. Everyone's gone quiet now. So you're going to get the New York Jets, and the Jets are kind of playing free fall football right now. Like, they have no worries. They're playing a lot better with no, expectations on their, no weight on their shoulders or nothing like that. And they're playing better football. Aaron Rodgers threw for 200 yards in 3 straight games, or 300 yards in 2 straight games. So they ranked 9th versus the running back at 20.5, 6th in the red zone, so a very good defense. They give up about 95.9 yards and a 60% chance of a touchdown. In the past 4 weeks, the Jets are right on cue with that, about the same thing. So they've held steady all year long. But Kyren Williams gets 20, 25 touches a game. The Rams are fighting for the number 1 spot in the NFC West. I mean, it's a tight race all the way around. You still got to love Kyren because volume is king in fantasy football, no matter the matchup. Running back number 9, the guy that is just the steal of fantasy football right now, Chase Brown. So Chase Brown, guys, just so you can, factor this in the past 6 games, has had 20 points in every single game. Every single game. So 93% snap share last week. That is insane usage. 28 touches. Week before that, 22 touches. 29 touches, 24 touches, 32 touches. Like, this man is just exploding onto the scene of fantasy football. Chase Brown is one of my favorite plays. You're going to get the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns are very good versus the run, but I do not care because he sees so many touches in the receiving game, so many touches in the run game. It's absolutely bonkers. They give up 19.2. They rank 5th. It is a very good run team. Myles Garrett got banged up a little bit last week, came back in the game. That was good to see. They rank 18th in the red zone, 86.4 yards and a 90% chance of a touchdown. On the last 4 weeks, though, they've gone to 20.58. So a little aberration difference of 19.2 to 20.58. It's gotten a little worse, but it's still a good run D, but I don't care. I'm still keeping Chase Brown in my top 9 as number 9 running back. Number 10 is going to be James Cook. And man, did I miss on this one last week. I don't know what the usage has been with this guy. It's been absolutely terrible. And he only played 41% of the snaps, guys, last week. And he still dropped 28.3 points because he broke one and got loose. 100 yards rushing. My guy, Big Draft Energy, shout out to him. I mean, actually, I forgot about this. 100%. We're going to do this midstream here. I forgot to add my guy, Big Draft Energy, who I am going to link into my description and everything like that. He's a co-host on my show. He'll be live with me Saturday as well. Make sure you check out his Twitter. Make sure you check out his YouTube. I will link all that in there. This is also behind the scenes information that I use here, right? So this is the most advantageous matchups for fantasy football for the running backs. I forgot to do this at the beginning of the video, so I'm going to do it now mid-video. I know it's kind of weird, but so make sure you go check out Big Drafters headquarters. Check out Big Draft Energy on YouTube. He'll be live all weekend. I'll be out of town. He'll be taking all the shows over. So make sure you're in there showing support to him. Now, these are the top 10 running backs with the most advantageous matchups for receiving yards in week 16. So Jerome Ford, you're going to see why I like him so much. Kamara, Bijan, Swift, Garendo, Jones, Chuba Hubbard, Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall. Screenshot this. Take a picture. This is also good for DFS, pick'ems, whatever stuff like that if you guys like it. Now, back to where I was here with James Cook. They're going to get the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots season's pretty much over. You're going to be in Buffalo. I hope you see his snap share. I know he's dealing with that toe injury. I hope you see his snap share ever get back up to like where it was, like 60, 57, 60%. He's been in the 40s. Oh my God. He's been in the 30% in week 11, 45, 45, 41. That is not good RB1 numbers. Yes, he's still finding the end zone. So I like how they're, timing out the usage of him, which is great. But still, it's not RB1 usage, but he's putting up RB1 numbers, which is great. The New England Patriots versus the run, guys. They on the season, they ranked 23rd, giving up 23.6. 30th in the red zone, 113.6 yards, which is bottom 5, and 90% chance of a touchdown. And when you look at the last 4 weeks, the New England Patriots on the last 4 weeks have given up about 24.8. So they're even worse than on the season. So great matchup here for James Cook. I just want to see his usage go up, and I'll put him even higher. I think the injury is just keeping him off the field a little bit here. Number 11, man, I hope it didn't cost you a fantasy football championship last week. Jonathan Taylor decided to just dropped the football before he walked into the end zone. They would have had the Denver Broncos beat, I think, if he scored that touchdown, man. And I mean, imagine if you lost by 5 points and you had 6 point touchdown right there, and JT did that. Absolutely brutal. Now, you're going to be back at home here. You're going to get the dome. You're going to have no weather. You're going to get the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans on the season ranked 17th, giving up 22.8, 27th in the red zone, fifth worst there, 86.6 yards. But when you're looking at the Titans in the last 4 weeks here, they are giving up 24.33. So even worse than how they have been on the season. I expect him. JT topped 100 last week. I expect him to top 100 this week again. I love him in this matchup versus Tennessee. Their season is over. I know they're starting Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Still, it could help them better than Will Levis, but I still love JT to run through this team. Number 12, the highest I have ranked him all year long. It is time. He has earned it. Bucky Irving is just destroying fantasy football as a rookie. It's absolutely crazy. He's top 17 RB, even with missing the game versus the Raiders. He's had a little injury here and there, and he didn't really play to start the season. He was only at 40% snaps, so the snaps have gone way up. You're going to get the Dallas Cowboys. And you saw him in space last week with 100-plus yards, right? You saw what this man can do once he breaks one tackle. It's Barry Sanders-like. I love it. He's like one of my favorite running backs to watch. And the Dallas Cowboys ranked 25th versus the running back. Give up 24 points. 17th in the red zone, 95.1 yards they allow per game, and they're tied for second last with 1 touchdown a game. Now, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys in the last 4 weeks versus the running back, they're giving up 15.88. So you just, they've had an easy schedule to go through it, so I don't take that as an aberration drop because it is a huge drop in 9 points that they got Micah Parsons back. They've got hopefully Lawrence back, and it's, Deron Bland, but you lost Diggs. Still a good defense, but I still like Bucky as my top 12 running back. Running back number 13, I didn't like him that much last week. I kind of got talked into Chuba Hubbard. I got to stop letting that happen. Chuba Hubbard is the guy. So he's going to be the guy with the Jonathan Brooks, re-aggravated the ACL injury, which is super sad. He looked kind of explosive. I wanted to see him get out there. But you saw him play 95% of the snaps. That is insane usage at running back. That is what you want James Cook to have. Imagine if James Cook had 95% usage. He'd be out of his mind. But he only had 10 carries for 32 yards. This Panthers offense is terrible. I mean, this is as bad as it gets. You're going to get the Arizona Cardinals. You could say the matchup's great here, and I like the matchup. 26, they give it 24.2, 13th in the red zone, 104.6 yards, 60% chance of a touchdown. And in the past 4 weeks, Arizona's at 22.83. So, I mean, even worse than what they are now, by 3-4 points. So you have to like it. It's just tough watching Bryce Young. I'd rank Chuba a lot higher if they had anything going. Number 14, one of my favorite plays of the week, the game breaker, Isaac Guerrero, the fastest 40 time for any running back coming out. And CMC's down, Jordan Mason is down, Elijah Mitchell is down. This is going to be your running back for the rest of the way. This is why I said this guy would be a league winner and spend all your fab on him when you had a chance to. And look what's happened. He's had 26 points and 11.5 points in back-to-back weeks here. You're about to get the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins versus the running back of 22.9. They rank 18th. They rank 25th in the red zone, so the touchdown upside is very high. 87.1 yards and a 90% chance for 1 touchdown for the running back. And then the Dolphins in the past 4 weeks, so we pull up both, they're at about 20.7. So right about where their season average is at. Dolphins still fighting for their life. The weather's not going to impact this game in Miami. Guerrero should be a great play this week. Running back 2. Running back 15. And this is the lowest I've ranked him all year. So it looks like Patrick Mahomes is going to be out there. So the game script is not going to be worse than what I thought it was going to be with Carson Wentz, which I'd rank Joe Mixon a lot higher if Carson Wentz was out there at quarterback. You're getting the Kansas City Chiefs defense here. And you're at KC. It's going to be rocking an Arrowhead. 15.3 points per game the Chiefs allowed to the running back, which is number 1 by a 1.6 average margin. They're number 1 on the season, number 5 in the red zone, and they're number 1 in yards allowed at 63.2. And they're number 2 at a 60% chance for a touchdown. And they're number 1 in yards per attempt at 3.7. This defense is ferocious. This is the only reason I don't like Joe Mixon. And if I even want to pull up the last 4 weeks, so this defense has stayed on par with itself the whole time. So they're at 15.3. Their top five still, they're 16.25 or 15.25 against the run, which is a barely average, or no, sorry, 16.25, which is a zero point 0.7 difference. This defense is very, very good versus the run. Obviously, you're still starting Joe Mixon. The touchdown upside is still there. He's still the main guy. He did get banged up a little bit last week, came back healthy in the game, which was good to see. It's just a very tough matchup versus KC, but you're still starting him as a RB2 in your matchups. Running back number 16, my guy that I've been just pumping up for like 5 weeks now. He was my smash play last week, dropped 150 yards on the Carolina Panthers. And look at his touches, guys. Rico Dowdle is the guy. If he would have had this job the whole time, he'd probably be a top 12, 15 running back right now. I mean, 25 touches last week, 20 touches the week before that, 25 touches again, 22 touches since he's become the guy. Snap shares up about 70% when it was at 40%. You get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this matchup is not as good as you think here, but I still like the volume. So Tampa Bay on the season, this is one you got to really pay attention to. 21.7 on the season. They've been injured a lot up front. So they rank 13th, 22nd in the red zone, 80.7 yards, which is top 10, which is very good, and a 40% chance of a touchdown. But in the past 4 weeks, Tampa is number 1 versus the running back since they've gotten healthy, and they're only allowing 12.5 points. That's the only reason I am lower on Rico Dowdle this week, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, like the 49ers, is getting healthy, and they're actually fighting for their playoffs. My 49ers probably not, but I'm just using that as an example here. Running back number 17, this is one of my favorite plays of the week, and people are kind of tripped out because Dorian Thompson-Robinson is the quarterback. None of that's going to matter to me. Jerome Ford is going to be an absolute great play this week, guys. And if you saw the tweet I showed you with BDE, they struggle heavy versus the receiving game. And Jerome Ford, look what he did last week against KC, the number 1 running team there is. But he did it through the air. He also had 84 yards on the ground, did 20 yards receiving. So had 100 yards on 8 touches last week. Now he's going to be the guy with Nick Chubb's season over. You're going to get the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the running back ranked 16th, giving up 22.7, 26th in the red zone. So very high touchdown upside, 91 yards they allow, and tied for second last with 1 touchdown a game. But what you need to look at here is the Cincinnati Bengals in the last 4 weeks, guys, are the worst. 32nd, giving up 32.5 points to the running back. They've given up a touchdown a game to the running back. This defense cannot stop anything. It's almost becoming my fantasy football pot of gold defense, but it's not there yet. I love Jerome Ford this week. Number 18, Breece Hall. I was sketchy on him last week. Thank God he got that touchdown to save his day at the end of the game, because he did not get the usage you were looking for. I mean, he's coming off injury. The Jets season's kind of over. He only played 48% of the snaps. You get the LA Rams here. The Los Angeles Rams are middle of the pack, 15th, 22.5 versus the running back. They're top 4 in the red zone. They have a very good front 7, very well-coached team down there in the red zone. 105.3 yards allowed, which is bottom 15. And a 60% chance of a touchdown. But if you look at the Rams in the past 4 weeks, they did have that big game versus the Bills. Obviously, where Josh Allen dropped a career game on him. They ranked 5th worst. They gave up 25.48. So that is a 3.3 average difference per game. They're getting beat by the running back heavy. If Breece Hall was out there at full Breece Hall right here, I'd probably have him in the baller tier around Derrick Henry ranking. I just don't know how his snap share is going to go, so I'm leaving him at 18. Running back number 19, Brian Robinson Jr., and it's just the matchup here for me. So I know he gets the Eagles. I know it's a very big division game. Obviously, he could fall into the end zone if they get down to the red zone. That's a given. I know that. But the Eagles defense, guys, it's been so good. It's number 2 versus the run, giving up 16.9. Number 2 on the season. Number 2 in the red zone across the board. 75.5 yards, which is 4th best in yards allowed. 40% chance of a touchdown. I mean, Jesus criminy. This is a good defense versus the run. Now, if I go past 4 weeks, the Eagles are only giving up 14.93. That's even better than what they've been giving up on the season. This defense has gotten better and better. It's the only reason I have Brian Robinson so low this week. Oh, and I talked about Bijan Robinson, gave you the breakdown for him. I forgot that I do the double running back here. I have Tyler Algier down here as well at 35. Running back number 20, moving on here, Tony Pollard, and we're going to bring up Tyjae Spears because we're in this moment. And Tyjae Spears had a big game last week, but it was done through the air in a bad game script. So Mason Rudolph now named the quarterback. The Tennessee Titans, I mean, both these running backs were absolutely nuclear last week. Tony Pollard found the end zone. Tyjae Spears found the end zone twice. You're going to get the Indianapolis Colts here. This is one of my fantasy football pot of gold defenses. So they ranked 27th versus the running back at 24.3, ninth in the red zone, 113.1 yards, which is bottom 10, and an 80% chance of a touchdown. And when you look at the last 4 weeks, nothing has changed. They've gotten even worse, I believe, here. So 24.3 on the season. Last 4 weeks, 26.6. They gotten even worse. You have to love this matchup. I just wish I knew that it wasn't a split backfield. I mean, Tyjae played over 50% of the snaps last week. So I know Pollard's dealing with a little ankle injury at the time. Still, they're going to have both these guys out there. They're going to be split. It's probably going to be a chance for 10 points for each of them in the game. I just don't know which one's going to hit, but I do like Tony Pollard's touchdown rushing upside higher. Moving on to number 21 here, it's going to be Rachaad White, and this guy has just been scoring touchdowns like crazy. And he's doing the same thing that he did last year down the stretch right now. So Rachaad White, though, do I trust him with Bucky Irvin being the guy? He played 51% snaps last week. Did see a lot of carries, but they blew the Chargers out, so the game script was a lot different. He saw more rushing volume. Now you're getting the Dallas Cowboys who are fighting here. The matchup is great, but I just feel like this is the Bucky game written all over it. But I'm still going to leave Rachaad White at 21. The Dallas Cowboys ranked 24th versus the running back, 25th versus the running back at 24 points, 25th on the season, 17th in the red zone, 95.1 yards, which is top 15 there, but tied for second last with 1 touchdown a game. And look at Rachaad White. He's got 3 touchdowns. Sorry, not 3 touchdowns. I'm wrong there. He's got, so let's go since he found the end. So he had a touchdown drought for first 6 weeks. Since then, he's had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's had 9 touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the past 8 games, that's a touchdown a game average, 1.1 average. Absolutely great to see him find the end zone every game. He's still a flexible play for me. I just like Bucky a lot more this week. Number 22, Isaiah Pacheco. And I called this when he came back. I said, I don't think Pacheco's going to be startable this year. And he has not been startable. He's had 5 points, 8 points, and 5 points. He's seen 13 carries, 14 carries, 55 yards, 32 yards, 44 yards. Has not found the end zone. Seeing a little receiving work. It's not been great. You get the Houston Texans. This is a good defense versus the run. They rank number 4, giving up 18.1 points, 7th in the red zone, so about a top 5 defense all the way around. 81.9 yards and a 40% chance of a touchdown. This is a horrible matchup for Pacheco. And you know you have a banged up Patrick Mahomes as well. And when I look at the past 4 weeks here for the Texans, they're giving up 18.9. So it's gotten 0.8 worse. Not a lot, not a big difference there. I really don't like Pacheco in this game, and it's a very tough start for me unless you need to flex him and just hope he falls into the end zone. Number 23, Aaron Jones. Man, I had a lot of people get on me last week for Aaron Jones. I didn't think he'd have a big game, and then he found the end zone kind of late in garbage time. He still would have had around, a 100-yard game. And Chicago played terrible. I thought Chicago would play better. You're going at the 12th man here. You're going at Seattle. Seattle versus the run here. They ranked 22nd, giving a 23.4. 19th in the red zone, 109.4 yards, which is bottom 15. 60% chance of a touchdown. Now, in the past 4 weeks, they've been getting up 24.4. They've been gashed. So you can really like the Aaron Jones matchup here. Again, for me, I'm just always afraid of this guy. Obviously, you're still starting him as RB2. He's 30 years old. He's had so many injuries in his career. And he's missed like 5 games this year, going in and out, missed a couple drives here and there. He's just always sketchy for me. The matchup is good. It's a great play still. I'm just ranking him lower because I just would never really trust the guy, man. Number 24, the flip-flop happened again. And that's the weirdest thing you could freaking ever, decipher here is Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. So 2 weeks ago, Tank Bigsby takes 18 carries. Then last week, Etienne outtouches him. They get the Las Vegas Raiders here. The Raiders season is done. This is a great matchup, but you just don't know how it's going to play out. So the Raiders ranked 20th, 23.1, 23rd in the red zone, 102.8 yards, bottom 15, 60% chance of a touchdown. In the past 4 weeks, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the running back are giving up 18.38. So 5-point difference. They've gotten better versus the run, but they just lost Max Crosby for the year. This matchup is beautiful. It's just who's going to outtouch who. I'm going to go with ETN at 24, Bigsby at 29. Man, it's one of those flip a coin. This next one hurts, man. Ramondre Stevenson, number 25 here. So, do we even think he's going to see 12 carries in this game, right? The Buffalo Bills have been scoring 50 points at will here. So maybe he sees 12, 13 carries, right? Maybe. Maybe he sees some receiving work. Maybe he's like a 9, 10-point floor running back. They're at Buffalo in the cold. I know it doesn't affect New England because they're in the cold as well, too. Buffalo is very bad versus the run. I mean, they ranked 31st, giving up 27.4, 31st in the season, 29th in the red zone, 98.1 yards, and a 70% chance of a touchdown. But Josh Allen is on fire, and the Patriots offense does not really move the ball. So I'm very, very afraid of the game script here. I wish it wasn't because Ramondre has a very good matchup. I'm just afraid of how much he's going to be out there because Josh Allen is on freaking fire. Number 26, DeAndre Swift had a nice game last week. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. Owners were worried about him being hurt. He came out there with Roschon out. Still had 89 total yards in the game, 79 rushing, 10 receiving, 9.9 points. Wasn't great. You get the Detroit Lions now. Now, all this information you're about to get, you can throw out the window. The Detroit Lions rank 6th versus the running back of 19.2, 12th in the red zone, 71 yards, which is number 2 in the NFL. But they just lost 2 more superstars, Carlton Davis, Nielsen, both out to go along with Anzalone and Hutchinson. Those are their 4 best players. So now you look at them versus the run. They're giving up 23.8 in the past 4 weeks, which is an average of 4 difference, and I expect it to get worse and worse. But you're going to have Roschon probably back in this game. So we don't know how the split's going to look again. I wish Roschon was out for one more game because the revenge game narrative for Swift here would be nice. Running back number 27 on the week, Tyrone Tracy, and it just sucks, man. The Giants just have nothing. They have nothing going for them. It's over. I'm not even going to read this. I mean, I'll read the Atlanta Falcons stats, but I just can't with the Giants. I just hate the situation for Malik Neighbors. I hate the situation for Tracy. It's awful across the board. So the Falcons in the last 4 weeks versus the running back are a top 5 run D, allowing 15.97 points to the position. It's going to be rough for Tracy out there. Number 28 and number 30, we're going to grab them together. The Pittsburgh Steelers are getting the Baltimore Ravens. This is the number 1 rushing yard defense on the or number 2 rushing yard behind the Chiefs. And in the last 4 weeks, they are the 6th best running defense in the NFL, allowing 18 points a game to the position. It's going to be a very brutal matchup for Najee and for Jaylen Warren here. If you need to throw him in the flex, you can, but I don't really love it this week. So we're to that point here. So Alvin Kamara, guys, if he is out there, and this is the risk that comes with it, right? If Alvin Kamara is out here, I put him as a top 15 running back, right? Always. It's Alvin Kamara. You get the Green Bay Packers. The receiving upside is very high versus the Packers. That's what Alvin Kamara thrives at. So I'm actually going to, hang on, I'm going to block this real quick. I'm going to grab him again. Oh, that's his. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to grab Kamara. I'm just going to leave Kamara to the left over here in the tier, saying I'd put him here. So I'd put him around 14, 15 if he's out there. If he's not out there, it's such a brutal weather game, bad matchup, bad quarterback play. I'm really not going to rank Kendre Miller that high. I'm going to keep him at 31. And when you look at the Green Bay Packers, so the Green Bay Packers, they have been getting beat by the running back 24.15, which is bottom 10 the past 4 weeks, right? On the season, they are currently giving up 23.1. They rank 19th. So 23.1 on the season to about, where were we at again? 4.15, just a little worse. But when you have Spencer Rattler, no weapons, no Olave, it looks like this week. We don't know about Kamara. We don't know how it's going to play out. Again, if Kamara's out there top 15. You probably see Jamal Williams too. I don't really like Kendre Miller as a start this week. Even, the weather looks terrible and you're at Lambeau. It's going to be really ugly. That defense is lights out right now. Number 33, Javonte Williams. He's back into my top 36. Jaleel McLaughlin takes a little injury. We don't know if he's going to be out there or not. I mean, this is in no way, shape, or form a great play. You're playing the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers in the past 4 weeks have been getting beat by the running back, but this is Denver Broncos. They don't really run the ball for anything. They give up 25.23, which is bottom 6 in the past 4 weeks. So the matchup is there. Just Sean Payton and the rotation is not there. So it makes it really, really tough for me to ever decipher the Broncos running back room. And I'm not starting either one of them. Last but not least, the Chargers. We're going to stick with the same game. Kamani Vidal, a lot more snaps last week. Gus Edwards has been terrible. They really, really miss J.K. Dobbins, and everyone knows it. You can absolutely see it. It's brutal. Kamani Vidal last week did play 67% of the snaps, so that's his highest of his career. So you have to notice, the Harbaugh and the coaching staff notice that they need an explosive player out there. They need to get this guy more involved. Do I trust it versus Denver? No, I do not. Denver versus the run is 14th, giving up 21.7. And in the past 4 weeks, the Denver Broncos versus the run have been a top 8 defense, allowing 18.03, getting even better. So don't love the matchup here. I know Harbaugh loves to run, but it's just a bad situation right now for him. So now, I did say I'd talk about Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet here. So if Kenneth Walker is out there and playing, he is always a top 12 running back for me. This man is a superstar electric running back. So I'm going to put Kamara here in tier 2 is where I'd rank him if he's out there. Kenneth Walker in tier 1 if he's out there. Now, Zach Charbonnet, if he is out there in this matchup for the Arizona Cardinals here, I'm not going to rank him as high. I know he found the end zone, saved his day in an ugly matchup. You're getting the Minnesota Vikings. They're third versus the running back. Your quarterback, Geno Smith, is banged up, barely going to try and play. They blitz heavy packages, and they rank third versus the running back on the season, getting up 17.4, 10th in the red zone, 73.3 yards allowed, which is third best, and a 40% chance for a touchdown, which is tied for first best there. And it's just, in the past 4 weeks, nothing's changed. They're still at 19.08, barely a little aberration difference. I do not like Charbonnet if he starts in this game. And I would like Kenneth Walker because he's just more explosive, man. He can get out in space and do different things here. Thanks for rocking with me this morning. That is the end of the episode. That is my Week 16 top 36 running backs. And remember, guys, at the end, I break down Charbonnet, I break down Kenneth Walker, I break down Kamara and Kendre Miller. They are all out. And Alexander Madison, I'm not keeping either. I don't trust the Raiders. Before we head out, guys, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscription. It helps me out a ton. You guys have been absolutely amazing this season. And again, I'll be live Thursday before the game, then Friday morning/afternoon. I'll do a little special, 2-hour draft stream, talking to you guys the whole time. If you cannot make the streams, you can always drop any comment you want down below. Well, it was one of my main goals this year was to answer every single one of them for you guys to get us to the point we're at now. And let's go get that championship, baby. SleezBall out. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.